Here's the situation that comes up more than you think. A SaaS company that has great content, strong product pages, clear positioning, a team that understands SEO, they know what they need. Better backlinks, more authority to the commercial pages, stronger rankings, more leads through SEO. But the work they are doing doesn't move the needle. Not necessarily because the strategy is wrong, even though sometimes that happens. More often than not, it's because getting the right links at the scale required is something that most in-house teams and a lot of agencies can't consistently deliver on. There's strategy misalignment, a ton of red tape, and results don't come because the volume isn't there. That's what this video is about. I'm going to walk through a specific campaign for a client, a UK-based AI SaaS company with huge enterprise clients like Tesla, Sony, and Nike. And the gap I just talked about, that was the entire problem, and I'm going to explain to you how we fixed it. In 7 months, we took this company from 5,000 monthly visitors to 15,000. A 200% increase in organic traffic in just 7 months. That was an addition of around $90,000 in annual traffic just from organic SEO. They subsequently have gone on to be acquired by a US-based software company, which is a successful exit for a very well-built business. The truth is, the strategy wasn't complicated. What made it work was the execution, specifically the volume required and the quality bar we implemented around the backlinks we built. But not only was it the quality of the backlinks, it was where we pointed them, and I'm going to explain that in this video. This distinction is what most agencies miss, so I'm looking forward to breaking it down for what will be the 6th video and hopefully the best yet of this channel. If you're watching this and recognizing the situation, perhaps it feels more familiar than you'd like. Maybe you've got good content, a good strategy behind your SEO, your GEO, but you're stuck on page 2 for some of your rankings, or you're not getting featured in AI search as much as you'd like. That's exactly what we're here to solve. We run a free diagnostic call here at Emgi. It's a 15 to 30 minute call. You can look in the link in the description of the video and you can book in with us. It's a 15 to 30 minute call, depending on how many questions you have. Simply in that call, what we're going to do, we're going to look at your exact keyword mix, your link profile, your competitors, your product market fit, your use cases, which companies and people you actually serve. From there, we're going to be able to engineer a clear roadmap from what you need to do next, the gaps you need to close, and the authority placements that are actually going to drive the most impact. There's no commitment to work with us or anything like that, but the link's in the description of the video if you'd like to book in that call. The strategy itself is actually not that complicated, but the execution of it is mostly where these sorts of link building campaigns, authority building campaigns fall apart. Let me walk through exactly what we did and show you why each decision during this campaign is actually very deliberate and calculated. This is the metric that I sort of teased a little bit at the start, and it's not DR, domain rating from Ahrefs, or DA, domain authority from SEMrush. In fact, it's something really simple, but often overlooked. The metric is the actual organic traffic from the referring domain. You see, the logic behind this is simple. If Google is willing to give traffic to a domain and allow it to rank for keywords, to some extent, Google trusts that website and it can value a link from it. But it's not just about the amount of organic traffic the domain has. It's about where that traffic comes from, the source of that traffic. You see, and as I talk about in a lot of these videos, organic traffic by itself is a vanity metric. So you shouldn't be evaluating the links you built purely off the amount of organic traffic of the domain. But with that said, it's a very good indicator. Say, for example, you have a video creation SaaS product. You should definitely be prioritizing sites that have organic traffic. But what would be better? A site with a lot of keyword rankings around video creation, social media videos, video content, video editing, or a site that has loads of organic traffic but is ranking for random keywords, maybe about celebrities or the latest release of James Bond or Star Wars. And this is where you close the semantic fit. Here is where you are able to identify domains that actually get traffic and have the semantic crossover and semantic relevance to what you do as a business. And this is what makes the best backlinks. I've literally had this exact scenario so many times where I've been on a sales call and a company said, we're looking to increase our DR by 10 points, or our DR dropped by 5 points and we need to recover it. And I hate to be brutal, but by itself, this is such a dumb idea. And here's why it matters. You see, DR is a calculated score that runs on a logarithmic scale, and it is from a third-party company, Ahrefs. And yes, sure, Ahrefs is a very established SEO tool, a very established company, and their scoring isn't inherently bad. It can just be extremely misleading. So for this client, we helped increase their traffic from 5,000 to 15,000 visitors every month, a 200% increase, and that was achieved in just 7 months. We built over 70 editorial backlinks in this campaign, and if you're still one of them people who cares about DR, we can still tell you that the average DR of the placements we built across all 70 was a DR 68, which is extremely strong. But that's not what I care about. What's much more important is the average organic traffic of these domains was 38,000 visitors every month. 100% of the backlinks we built were do follow to pass the maximum link equity, although it is definitely not a bad thing to get some no follow links in here. It's just what the client wanted in this case. The second and very important deliberate decision that we took for this campaign wasn't just about the backlinks we built, but where we built them backlinks to. You see, these backlinks weren't built randomly across the domain. Instead, there was a very deliberate strategy tied to commercial revenue that we followed tightly. We mapped every one of these 70 backlink placements to commercial intent feature pages. And in total, we targeted 5 different pages across the campaign. Each cluster was targeting very high intent keywords that were exceptionally important for the business to rank for. We also evaluated each of these pages to understand it was realistic that we could move the needle enough to rank for it. You see, 70 backlinks is a good volume, but if we were targeting a keyword like credit cards, then that wouldn't be enough. Instead, we evaluated the opportunities of the client to actually rank for these keywords. So we wanted them to be high intent, and by definition, when something's high intent and got commercial value, it's going to be somewhat competitive. We wanted to make sure that they weren't too competitive or unrealistic for the client to rank. We knew that if we built enough authority with the combined topical authority of the client's site, the quality of their pages, their clear positioning, that we were onto a winner. And that's why it's so important to evaluate this before a link building campaign starts. Many companies are going to be willing to take your money, but a lot less are going to be willing to tell you that it's a bad idea. So we distributed these 70 backlinks across 5 different clusters. These included music and audio visualizers, video AI pages, video mockup generators, explainer videos and animation, as well as logos and animating them. I'm not going to go into exactly how many links we targeted to each page, but I can tell you the spread isn't completely even. We actually took a clear strategy to see who was ranking already for the most important keywords and the cluster that was targeting. And then from there, we were able to know how many backlinks it's going to take to actually move rankings here. So because of this, some took more than others. And we actually built over 20 links to a couple of these clusters, and then far fewer to some of the other pages that were seen as less competitive. We don't pretend that every page deserves the equal commercial investment, because that's a blind strategy to take. Instead, you actually want to run the data and the maths and understand, okay, what is realistic in terms of how many referring domains or how many backlinks we need to rank for this specific keyword. On top of that, we were picking the pages that were most likely to drive pipeline. We're factoring in things like the average order value, how long a customer is likely to stay. And it's really important when you're doing this link building strategy to understand the actual segments of your customer base that are the highest value. Who's going to stick with you for the longest? Who's going to spend the most amount of money? And oftentimes that maps to which pages are more competitive, but not always. And each business is different. Each business serves different types of customers, different use cases in an industry. So it's important to take these factors into account and actually work with that to understand, okay, yeah, this is our most important page. This is our second most important page. And then you can sort of spread the distribution of the backlinks you're building more evenly after that. Anchor text is an interesting topic in SEO. It's something that I think most people either care too much about or care too little about. But for a link building campaign, it's a factor nonetheless. For those who don't know, anchor text is the phrase or keyword on a page where there's the clickable link to the target page. Many campaigns are using quite generic anchor texts like click here or the brand name, and then some go the other way and are very aggressive with the anchor texts and use the exact keywords that the client's trying to rank for. You see, this sort of debate comes from the belief that there needs to be diversity when building backlinks, and that if you're always using the same anchor text, it's going to come across as very forced, gamed, and they will show up to Google as being links that were clearly paid for or manipulative. And as we know, backlinks that are seen as manipulative get discounted by Google. But the problem with this is the inverse. If you don't use any sort of keyword-based anchor texts, it tells Google nothing about the commercial relevance and context of the page that's being linked to. On this campaign, and as we usually do, we match the pages that we're trying to rank for to the sort of keywords that are relevant. And then, and this is what I would also recommend you doing in a link building campaign, we distributed the different natural language variations of the exact keyword the page is trying to rank for and made them the anchor texts. But the more important thing is about where the growth happened, because this is what tells you that the strategy we implemented actually worked. So out of the extra 10,000 monthly visitors the site started to receive as a result of this authority work, half of them, so 5,000 visitors extra each month, were going to the two commercial pages that we target the most, the Video AI page and the Music Visualizer page. And this is what helps to contribute so significantly towards organic revenue, because these are the pages that are actually bringing leads. These are feature pages, commercial pages. This is based on traffic value of the keywords now ranking. It's how much extra every year you'd have to pay as an advertiser in order to be able to rank for these keywords organically. And this is what's so great about SEO, is because it's compounding. You do the work, and it's not to say you maintain them rankings forever, but you see the results long after the initial work's been done. And this is why we focus on SEO in a process of doing sort of sprints. And you take these actions, you take these efforts to build the authority, you to move the rankings, to get more visibility for your brand across important commercial searches. And it doesn't just go away. So let me finish with this. Most SaaS companies are going to stay in their current position. They keep waiting. They hope their current agency improves. They're resistant to change. They want to build their in-house team. They want to make their team find the time. They expect that eventually the rankings will come. And usually they don't. The gap between knowing what good link building is and what good organic editorial authority placements look like and actually executing on it is the big difference. And every month the gap stays open between you and the top competitors in your space. The gap is widening. Competitors with a better link profile, more authority, but ultimately a weaker product, a product that's not as good, they're still stealing your clicks, they're still stealing the traffic. Google and search engines aren't able to evaluate how good your product is just based on what you say about your product and your quality of your on-page content. They need the authority signals to back it up. If you want these rankings to belong to you, then you're gonna have to fight for it. Hey, it was Matt here. If this resonates, there's a link in the description of the video and hopefully in the comment section too. You can go ahead and book a strategy call with us. There's no pitch on the call. We're going to look at your link profile, how you're showing up in search, how you want to show up in search, how search can be the channel that drives revenue for your business. And you're going to walk away from that call with a plan. Regardless whether you want to work with us, you're going to have a new plan, an improved plan that you can actually take away and think, okay, these are the clear next steps and this is how we're going to execute on them. Just 15-30 minutes with us, you'll know exactly where the gaps are. Thanks again. It was Matt. Looking forward to seeing you in the next videos, and feel free to check out the videos already uploaded on the channel. Lots of great content, case study breakdowns like this, but a lot of information about how search is changing, what's big in search, and the trends that are coming. Thank you.